Right, I've got this GHD Air 1 air dryer in. Got two faults on it. One fault, it's not making any heat, and two, it's got a squeak on when it starts up. I'll just plug it in so you can hear what I mean. Right, so, oh, it didn't do it then. There you go. There you go. So, squeaking, and we're getting no heat from the from it at all. So, got a couple of issues to deal with. So first things first, take these covers off. There's one there to get to your screws. They just pop off. There. Then you probably won't be able to see. I'll show you when I've taken them out. The screws in there, they're a security bit. So no point in having a Phillips get my security bit in. Why ain't that coming out now? There we go. One bit out. Two bit. So with these, they are a security bit, but I don't know how I'm going to show you this now. Anyway, they are a security bit, they're a Torx bit, but they've got the pip in the middle, which means you've got to have a security Torx bit. Anyway, I just use a flat screwdriver, and it is a 2.5 flat. Anyway, so we're in it. First thing I do, take the fan off, just undo the nut on the fan, just undo that slightly, pulls off. As ever with these, we've got some hair wrapped around the shaft there. That definitely won't be helping the squeak, but that's not my main issue. The main issue here is the no heat. So what I do, so you got your screws here, you got these two outer ones here and here, which hold the actual motor into your casing, and you got these two here what hold your bearings and all your motor together. So undo your outer ones, take it out of the casing. Everything from now on is just Phillips screws. So they're out. Yeah. You've just got these screws here. I'll just show you. These screws here holding your cable in. They're your security bits. So I'll just take them out, and then I can get rid of the casing then. And just concentrate on the insides. So we're in. That can go out that way. Excuse the brightness a second. So you can hear that squeaky, squeaky. So I'll now undo these two, which will actually take the motor, which will remove this bottom and this top bearing housing, and it'll all come out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it They're tight. I'll give it a right good clean before I do. Right, I'll show you the problem with this. Now, first thing I do before I do anything, I always feel if there's any play in that motor, up and down, left or right. There shouldn't be any play in that at all. It is, you can hear it, you can feel it when there's play in it. In this one, there's no play in it. And I'm reckoning, now, take these out. These are tight. Which is good, means no one's been in here before. These never been out before. Quite a bit of a tight fit actually, them. So all these are, they're just a little clip. Just a little, just so that, because these are generic motors, but then you put them in so they can fit onto the actual hairdryer housing itself. So you'll probably find the same motors, or similar, in most hairdryers, but it'll be the fitting of them, which are these brackets, little plastic brackets really, that will fit to the actual motor that, the hairdryer that they're going on. Babbling again. Right, yep, the issue here is, might as well take it all apart, spring out. I'll just show you the orientation of these. So on these, you've got don't drop it. So you got a big washer there, and you got a smaller washer, and then a tiny little spring. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, got a tiny little spring that goes on the bottom end of your motor. Now I think the reason, although it doesn't feel too bad to be fair, that normally on the shaft of the motor down this end here, where it's always rubbing or where it's always in the brass bearing at the top, the chrome, you know, you normally get is the chrome, which turn off. It's the chrome around here which normally just peels away. On this particular one, it seems alright actually. What I'm going to do is put a new bearing, a new top bearing on it. Oh, there we are. I'll put a new top bearing on it, see what happens there. It might be fine to be fair. I'm just putting a new one on and just feeling for play in it. There's no play in it, so that's fine. As far as I'm concerned, that's fine. Right, the thing that I look for on here as well is, you can see on, where are we now? Let me try and, so you got these here, they're your brushes, they're your motor brushes. And there's plenty of meat on them, they seem alright. Let me just check your bottom bearing. That seems alright to be fair. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put all that back together, see what it's like once I've finished. So I'll build it back up. So to build it back up, I'm going to go on little microscope here. I'm going to press the card, I hope. I don't know. Hang on a sec. You think I'll be used to all this? No. Right, let's have a look. Right. Okay. Right. It won't let me. It's playing up. It's telling me to go away. Right. I'm going to have to strip all this down then. Right. To take the brushes out, I've now got, that's where your brushes go, in here. I've now got to just unclip it underneath. Just got to unclip it there, and then that'll allow it to come out. Seems to be plenty on there, to be fair. Same with the other side. There and there. So, to be fair, there's plenty on there, absolutely plenty of them. I think when they're newer, there's about 12mm on it. Let me just measure these, see how much is on these. It's probably about 8mm on there or something, I guess. Oh, 8.5mm is on there. So they're fine. They're not even halfway down yet. Right, so what I'll do, so I'll assemble the motor. I've got the spring, the small washer, the big washer on there. That just fits in through here. Right, let me sort this out. Through here, through your bottom bearing. When it decides it wants to go in. That's that in. Right, then I'll put the new top bearing on. Perfect. Screw it all back together. The trick with this is you have to, so you got your screw that goes in there all the way through, comes out the other end. So this side of your bottom bearing has got to line up with that hole. And to be fair, they do alright actually. They've got a little locating log on them somewhere. So as long as you get that in, as long as it's flat and it starts screwing in, it's fine. Perfect. Start it off and that'll go in. No, there, just push straight in. Straight to the bottom. Just check that it's actually screwing in to the bottom bearing. I'll show you in a second. light on it. So look, why are you not going in now? That's why. It's better when you can see in it really. Right. So we've got, it's come through here. Let's see if I can get some light on. I'm seriously not set up at the minute for this. Turn that off. So you got your screw in there. Yeah, going through. It's coming out into your back bearing. There. I've got to put that back on in a second. It's coming through, and that's seated down right up. So do the other side. I need to back that off a bit. Not wild. That's perfect. It's gone in. What I do, I tighten these up, but then I back them off a little bit. So tighten them up as tight as they'll go. Then back them off a bit. With your, if you're putting the other brushes back, sorry, if you're putting them back, you will see that it's worn in on the curve. So you just make sure that that goes back in there. Then clip your wires back in. Oh, there you go, it just clicks in. Make sure that your spring's in and your brushes are on the right way. Right, that one there. If you're putting new brushes in, doesn't matter what orientation they're going, because they'll bed themselves in. Because these are already bedded in, and it's just better really to put them back the way they are. Click them back in, and then that is back on. Right, so they're done. That sounds better already. Right, as far as thermal fuse goes, so I'll just peel this back and I'll show you where the thermal fuse is, how to test it, and with this one, how to change it. So your thermal fuse, pen and arse. Thermal fuse is there, so it goes, connects from your bio strip there to your end here, and if that blows, you're not going to get any heat coming out. Sometimes on these you don't get heat, or your hairdryer doesn't work at all. So when I get an hairdryer in, that doesn't work. First thing you go for is obviously the fuse and the cable. And then if it's still not working, strip it down. I'll check the thermal fuse. And the thermal fuse is alright. And the fuse in your plug is alright. Right. So this will beep and it's done. So onto there, no beeping. So it's time to change your fuse. So these fuses, you can't really what I'll do, I'll just make enough room. Got to be careful with these, obviously, because you clipped on the heating element. The heating element is fixed on here, and then it winds, coils round then, and then it's fixed down here somewhere. So you can't really go too mad here, because it's a chance of it breaking off. Your thermal fuse, all you need to do, just need to cut it there, take your fuse out. What I do with these, I solder a new fuse in. Now, all people will say, well, you can't solder a fuse in. Be careful, you can, to be fair. So, I've chopped the old fuse out. Your new fuse, that is a 184 degrees thermal fuse. So all I do with that, bend your legs on your fuse, trim it down, and there is, you'll be able to see. Can I zoom in with this or not? No. I'm only filming on my iPhone, so it's quite, I can't zoom in. But that goes through to the other side there. So what I do is put the legs of the fuse through and then solder it up. So it takes me about, normally if I'm not filming, it takes me about, why is that not there now? 10 minutes to do. So I'll put one leg through that all. There. Maybe I've got that a bit close. So this proved quite a challenge this time on this particular one. As you'll see in the video, it goes on and on, but I did do it in the end. I was going to delete it at the video, but I thought I'll leave it in and then people can see how much of a challenge it is. Now they figure it out. I can use that on another one. That one there, and that one there, and then pop it in. Because what I'm trying to do now really is to get it so it sits right. Then when it sits right and I'm happy with that, take it back out again. Put a load of solder through one of the legs, one of the holes, fill it up with solder. That bloody springs in where. They are a bit of a pain, but got one leg in. Oh, now it's all come out. Right, happy days. That's what you want to do. Bend your fuse like that. And get your legs. Trim the legs down. So it's roughly about that. Once you've got, I mean, I do these loads, and I'm struggling a little bit today. There we go, perfect. It says, there we go, right, so. Right, thermal fuse is now in. It's not soldered, but you got leg through there, and it's coming out the other side. Through that hole, through that hole. So what we'll do now is, which says, take one leg out, like the okey cokey. Right, put a load of flux on there. What I'll do, I'll flood this all now. Just flood it with solder. Absolutely flood it with solder. I'm nowhere near the thermal fuse just yet. Once that's flooded with solder, I'll then remelt the solder. It's not going to plan this really. It will forceps out. Perfect. Right. So let's flood that let's melt all that again. Perfect. That's one side in. Right. So I'm just going to check now, make sure that that fuse hasn't popped before I do the other side. Yeah. So as you can see, wherever it is, that's the leg of the new fuse that's come through. Yeah. I've now just got to do this side. I just got to do that side. So same principle, flood it, with solder, then pop the fuse through. That way you're minimising the heat from the soldering iron, solder. And then at the last minute you get in thermal fusing. It's not ideal, but then there's no real other way of doing it apart from taking the hairdryer apart, taking all your, that's perfect that. Taking all your heating element apart, and then you risk damaging it, and then right, sorry about that. Right, so got one side in, just got to now get the other side in. Been a bit of a pain in the arse actually this morning, this. Right, we're in. So we just bend that leg down a little bit. There we go, perfect. It's not pretty, I know I'm going to get slated for it, but it's in. God, I've struggled with that this morning. Right, so I've got the first leg, which is in there, goes through, let's have a look, where am I? Goes through there, comes out there, that's soldered in, and that's solid. This one, again, the leg's through, where are we? There we go, the leg's through, and it's in. I've had to bend it down a little bit on here, but it's in. and it's working. Let me check that it's not burnt. There we go. Perfect. All I do now is just snip them legs off. Down there and there. And then I put the element back to where it was. Ugh. Just got to be very careful with the element, because sometimes they are very brittle, and even just taking them out of the actual air dryer itself, that's enough to break them. Right, let me have a little clean up here. Brilliant. Nothing's going as it should do today so far, and it's only 10 o'clock. Saying that, I've been up since 4 o'clock, so for me it's middle of the day. Right, so everything's alright in there. So when you're putting these air dryers back, let me turn that off, all the glare on it. So when you're putting these back, all them cables there, I'll just show you, there's a little recess. Here. All your wires just fit down there, so you just make so it can only go one way really. Make sure that your wires are lining up roughly like that, and then so there you go. There. What I do, I put my switch in first, my circuit board in first. Shift that brown wire out of the way. All your wires for your circuit board, they go around your switch, so your switch fits in there. There. Switch in there. So your switch fits in there, all your wires go around your switch. Yeah, otherwise your switch ain't going to work and your cover's not going to go on. So there and there, that's in. That seems tight. Seems a little bit. Oh, there we go. Right, now that lot's in, I just put the clamp in for the cable. Put that back in. Oh god, I'm struggling with a simple screw now. Jeepers. I didn't mean to say jeepers, I meant to say Jesus. Right. So get that in position there. Tighten your cable down. Something less to move around with your brown wire. Just hold that. The brown wire there, just make sure it's not trapped and going around your switch or anything like that. Make sure it's all tucked in. Your actual motor, that can go in now. One in, another one in. There and there, that's Perfect. While this is all out, again, I've been through this in another video. I check my switches. I'll just give them a quick visual now. They're actually fine, to be fair then. They're actually fine. Normally they're a bit black and pitted. Again, check the heat switch. I'll clean them up a little bit. Actually, they're fine, to be honest. Just a little bit pitted. While I'm here, I might as well give them a good clean. One done. Perfect. Switch back. Perfect. Again, you've got to make sure that your cables are on the inside of that little post there. It's only a tiny one, but just make sure that all your cables will be behind there. Otherwise your case isn't going to fit into that groove where it needs to fit. Yeah, it's going to trap your wires and it's going to be a nightmare. Make sure everything's there. Put your fan back on. Again, with your fan, I never have it with your fan. Let's have a look. Where is it? I always have it just below the top there. That way you've got a little bit. You need play up and down. Play up and down is good, because when that spins, it pushes the fan down. So if you haven't got enough play on there, if you put it too far on, your fan's just not gonna. It's not going to be able to do what it needs to do. So pop these on, pop that in, line your switch up, top, give it a bang, that's it. And that is done. Well, it's taken me a while. I did struggle with that thermal fuse this morning. That's it. So we had no heat and we had a squeak. Let's see now. Let's plug it in. So doesn't sound good, that, doesn't it? I don't know why. It's catching. It's too far up. It's catching on the casing. We'll just adjust that. back on. Try it again. So let's unplug it. Ah, right. I know why. Because I did say not to tighten these screws down too much. Nip them up now. There you go. There. And there. Put the fan back on. Let's try it now. Try it without the case on. Just seems to be rubbing slightly on there. Right, well, the heat's working. We're not making that. Yeah. Right, I'm back. The issue was behind here, there are some spaces. So just underneath the bearing housing there, on the shaft, there's some. Where are they? There's some spaces, very tiny spaces. Them. And these. Now these are 0.2 of a millimeters thick. So they're spaces for the shaft. So what was happening is the shaft was going down too far. No, the shaft was coming up too close and hitting that. So what I've done now, I've put spacers on so that the shaft can't come up as far. Oh, so yeah, it took me a while to figure out, but that was the issue, why it was just grounding too much. So now we can just put this on as I normally would. But I've never had that before actually. It's quite a tricky one. So again, the trick to putting these together is put the bottom on, clip that in first into your strain relief. You can't see, can you? Put it into your strain relief first, down there. Line up with your buttons. Let's have a look. Line up with your buttons as well. And line it up there, and then just give it a quick tap and it's in. Just try your buttons, make sure. Right, let's plug it in and try again. Come on. Oh, God. Right, there we go. So, right, that's working, that's not noisy, that's fine. Heat on, number 1. That's lovely. Heat number 2. Perfect. Full stop button. Everything's working as it should. Right, screws in, off we go. So that's how you do a thermal fuse and a bearing change on the GHD Air 1.0. Thank you very much.